Hello friends, it's Prajul Pathak this side and you are watching my YouTube channel PyGuru. Friends, today in this tutorial we are going to create a very small project using Python where we'll be learning or analyzing the pollution of my city using Python. Okay, so let's get started. But before that, there are a few things that I want to say. That currently it's the COVID-19 has been expanded to lots of states, so I hope you are safe. And if you are a computer user, make sure that you use sanitizers to rub your PC screens. If you are using shared computer, if you are sharing your phone, make sure that you are using uh, a little sanitizer, okay, with a cloth, and rub it on your screen, system screen. Okay, so this, and please don't go outside until very necessary. Use sanitizers and masks. Okay, so being said this, let's get started with our project. See here what here we'll be doing in this project. First of all, we'll be analyzing the pollution of my city. Basically, you can do the same project for your city. Okay, I'll be telling how. And first, at first we'll learn the pollution analysis using in real time. It means that what is the current pollution level, or what are the current pollutants in my city. And then we'll be learning about historical data analysis. See, our country is under lockdown for 21 days, but the dates of lockdown has been extended further to 3rd May. But here in this project we will be focusing on the first 21 days, that is from 25th to 14th of April. Okay, so here in the second part we'll be analyzing the data between these two dates, 25th March to 14th April. Okay, there are a few things that I would like to tell. The data that we are going to use here is given by CPCB, India Central Pollution Control Board, and as well as the World Air Quality Index project. Okay, so yep, I think this is it. So let's get started with the coding part of this project. So at first we'll be analyzing the pollution level in real time. So let me just expand this cell, and here we are. So see, first of all we need to find the pollution level, or what are the pollutants in air in my city. So for that we are going to use an API. The link of this API is simply http ://api.waqi.info. okay, this will be our API. But to use this API you need to have a API key, which you can get it from here. So let me just open this in a new tab so I can show you how can you get the API key. It's very easy. Just go to this page. I will give its link in the video description. Also, this notebook is available in the video description. You can just copy it to your drive or download it simply. Okay, so just go here on this page. What you have to do, just type your email address, your name, and just select this, confirm you agree with, and press submit, and you will be given a API key on your email ID. Okay, so see here I have already got my API key, and what I have did, I have already stored it in a API key variable. But let me just comment all this so I can explain you the coding part. See, so I hope you have got your API key. Even if you didn't got, you can just use my API key. Okay, this is it. So first of all we are going to use the request library of Python to access this API. Remember, this is not available in normal Python, so you have to first install the request library, which you can do it simply by pip install request, and it will install the request library. Now after that what we are going to do, let me just clear this output. Let's create a variable city, and see, currently I am in Kanpur, so I will simply store the name of my city in this city variable. Also, if you are in any other city, let's say if you are Mumbai, you have to type Mumbai here. If you are in Bangalore, you have to type Bangalore here. If you are in Delhi, you have to type Delhi here. Okay, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a URL variable. So just create it like this. I do not change anything in this. It's simply the full link of this API. So what you have to do, you have to type http://api.waqi.info/feed/plus city. See, in the city variable I have already stored Kanpur, so it means that we are concatenating the city variable with this part, this string. Okay, plus this token part. You do not have to change anything here. Only you have to change is the name of the city here in this city variable. Okay, finally we are going to create a API key variable which will store the API key. So if you have got your API key, it's good. Otherwise you can just use my API key. Also remember, my API key may change, so it's better to generate yourself one. So this API key is necessary for accessing this API. Okay, WAQI API. So we have created 3 variables here. Now we are going to create a main variable called the main URL. which will be the main URL of this API. And simply what we are going to do here, we are going to just concatenate the URL plus this API key. So URL variable plus API key variable. Okay, done. So this will be the main URL of our API. Now what I'm going to do is visit this API. How can we do it? See, inside the request library we have a method called the get method, which can access any API or website. So we have to pass the URL of the particular API or website here. So I'll simply pass the main URL here, as we have already uh, store this whole link of the API in this main URL variable. And finally, see, this API will return you a JSON file. What is JSON file? It stands for JavaScript Object Notation. Basically, it's a dictionary-like structure which stores the data. So let me just extract the JSON from this API. See, when you will run it, it will return you a JSON file. So after that, you have to apply this JSON method on this. And finally, let's just try printing data. So if you are using normal Python, if you have to type print data, since I am in notebook, I can simply type data and it will print the data of this. Here we have got an error. Let's see, name request is not defined. Actually I haven't run this module. I think sell this. So first you have to run this import request and then run this. Okay, no problem. See, here we are getting a dictionary here, a bigger dictionary here. So see, what is a JSON file? It's simply you can think it just like a dictionary. So see, here we have a dictionary. It starts and ends with a curly brace. Inside it, it has several data like the AQI. AQI stands for air quality information, which is currently 168, which is quite high for my city. Okay, it's not good for anyone's health. And then there is the name of the organization from where this data is being taken. See, this API updates the AQI of every city after each hour. Okay, after every 1 hour this value will change. So don't think that it will be 168. After every hour this will change depending on the pollution level of your city. Also, see here, this is giving this geo, which means the location of my city. This is the latitude, this is the longitude. Here is the name of my pollution station, which controls or finds out the pollution level of my city, which is Nehru Nagar, Kanpur, India. Perfect. And here finally we have few datas. Here it's saying that dominant pollutant is PM 2.5. The most dominant pollutant of air in my city is PM 2.5. See here, there are few pollutants that are, and they are very harmful for health. See, the most important or the common pollutants are particulate matter, generally PM 10 and PM 2.5. What PM stands for? It stands for particulate matter. 2.5 means those particulate matters which have a diameter of less than 2.5 micrometers. Okay, and PM10 stands for particulate matter whose diameter is less than 10 micrometers. Then there is other air pollutants like ozone, nitrogen dioxide, carbon monoxide and sulfur dioxide. So see here, this API is returning you the value of these things. So here is H, here is NO2 value, which is 10.2, O3 value 35.5, P value. We do not need this thing, so we will remove this after extracting the dictionary. Okay, then PM 2.5 value, SO2 value, and then T, then W. Here is the index. See, each city has a unique index, and this is a time at which we have made the request. Okay, and the status is okay. So what we have to do, basically we have to extract this whole thing in separate things. So first of all, what I am going to do here, I am just going to extract this smaller thing. Okay, a smaller dictionary from this bigger dictionary. So how can we do it? Simply here we can pass the key name. See here, the key name is data, so I'll simply pass data here and just now run it and we'll get the smaller dictionary. So AQI is 168, attributions, everything perfect. Now what else we are going to do? Let's come here. First of all, what I'm going to do, I'm going to store this 168 in a AQI variable and this whole thing in a IAQI variable. Okay, so we are going to extract this 168 and this value from this bigger dictionary. So how can we do it? So let's come in the next cell. Okay, and let me just comment it out and clear this output so we can start with the coding part. So let's create a variable AQI. See, the bigger dictionary name is data. Okay, we have created it here. So to small extract any particular data from here, you have to pass the key name. See, in dictionaries, a dictionary is simply a key value pair, so we have to pass the key name to extract particular data from it. So first of all, the dictionary name and then the key name, which is AQI. So I'll simply pass AQI here. You can see the key name is AQI. Here see, the key name is AQI, and for this the key name is IAQI. So we are going to just store it in two separate variables. IAQI equals data and pass the IAQI key name. Okay, so first of all let me just print AQI. So it will print 168. Perfect. And let me just print IAQI, and it will print the smaller dictionary. So div value is 19, h value is 47.66, NO2 value is 10.2, O3 value is 30.5, like this. So perfect. Now what I want to do is I want to remove this thing from this bigger dictionary. I do not want this. Okay, so how can you do it? Simply you can use the del variable of Python, which stands for deleting. So then the dictionary name is my IAQI. We've just created it. See, it's still a dictionary. Okay, so IAQI, then the key name which you want to delete. So I want to delete P. I will simply pass P, and after that I will print IAQI. So let me just run it. See here, now it's perfect. We have deleted the P value from this. So now let me just comment it out, and let's apply the for loop. Suppose you want to print only the pollutants and their value. So let's see how can you do it. It's very easy. Just you have to apply a for loop on it. So for I in IAQI dot items, this is a dictionary method which you can apply, and returns a tuple. So let me just print I. So it will give you a tuple printed on your screen. So see here, we are getting a tuple which each pollutant and their value in a tuple, separate tuple. Now what we have to do, we have to print div and its value. So how can you do it? So first of all, just pass 0. See, at the 0th index is the pollutant name, and in the first index there is a dictionary. In the 0th index, pollutant name. In the first index, its value. Okay, like this. So I0 means pollutant name. Then let's just add this thing. Okay, and then keep in mind, first of all we'll pass the I1. I1 means this is this dictionary, and we'll pass a key name here which is V. Okay, so V stands for value. If I pass key name V, so I will get the value as 19. If I pass V, I will get 47.69. So let me just run it, and this time what you will get, you will get div value is 19, h value is this, NO2 value is this, O3 value is this, PM25 value is this. You can learn more about common air pollutants from this web page. I'll give its link in the video description. You can check it out. So I hope you got it. Now what you can get, you can, if you want, you can just store all these things in a separate variables like this. So div in a div variable, h in a h variable, SO2 in a SO2 variable, PM10 in PM10 variable, PM2.5 in this variable. So just like this. So let me just run it, and it will show you the data like this. Okay, so Kanpur AQI is 168. We have extracted it above, and like this. I hope it's need not to be explained. We are simply using the get method here to extract data from it, and if the particular pollutant is not available, you will get nil. Okay, so working fine. Now what we are going to do, we are going to use this data and plot a pie chart. So let's see how can we do it. See, these are the most common air pollutants of my city, and also it may happen that your city may not have div, your city may not have NO2 if your city is clean, if your city may not have O3 or ozone. So this, just keep this thing in mind, that your city may not have the same common pollutants as my city have. So that's why we have used the get method here. If the particular air pollutant is missing, you will simply get nil as the value. Okay, so let's just come here and plot a pie chart. So let me just comment all these things so we can code it ourselves. Let's see how can we do it. So for this, to plot a pie chart, you have to import matplotlib. So let's import it. Import matplotlib dot pieplot as plt. Fine. Now what I'm going to do, see here, I'm just going to create a list, two lists. The first list will store the name of these pollutants, and the second list will store the value of these pollutants. So let's see how can I do it. We are going to use the list comprehension thing here. So let's create a pollutants list, okay, which will store the key names of the pollutants. Let's come here. So I for I in IAQI. See, IAQI is this dictionary name where we have created it here. IAQI is a dictionary name which is storing the name of the pollutants. So I have stored what I am going to do, I am just simply extracting it So I for I in IAQI, basically it will give you the name of all the keys, which is the name of all the pollutants. Perfect. Now let's create another list, values, which will store the values of this all the things. So I, and then pass the just key name I of V for I in IAQI dot values. Again, this is a dictionary method. So let me just print these two things, print pollutants and print values. Perfect. So see here, in the first list we have the pollutant name, in the second list we have their values. So it's working fine. Now what we have to do, we have to plot a graph of it. How can we do it? See, we have imported the matplotlib library. Okay, so to first of all, let's plot a pie chart, plt.py, and pass first the values, okay, which is this list, and then labels. See, labels will be our pollutants name, pollutants. So, and finally after plotting it, you have to type plt.show to make the plot visible. So let's apply plt.show, and here we are getting a small pie chart which is storing the which is simply the contribution of each pollutants, or sorry, concentration of each pollutants and their names. See, PM25 is quite high, then O3, then NO2, then H, like this. So what I want to do, first of all, I want to increase the size of this. So how can you do it? Simply come here, let's just put it, plot a pie chart. Perfect. So plt.figure, type plt.figure, and inside it pass fig size, which stands for figure size, and it will take a triple value. I'm passing 8 by 6, which means 8 by 6 inches. So let me just run it, and it will increase the size of the pie chart. Perfect. Now few more things. I want that the percentage of each concentration should be shown. Okay, so let's see how can we do it. You can just simply do it like this, pass auto PCT, okay, and just pass it here in the pi value. So let's just pass it, and now it will show you the concentration of each value in percentage. See, so PM25 is 51.4% of all the pollutants, O3 is 10.9% of all the pollutants, like this. One more thing you can add here is shadow, which will add simply a little shadow on the pie chart. So let's just run it. So see here, it's now having a little shadow here, if you can see. Everything is perfect. Now what I want is, I want that the whatever the value which is highest should get a little exploded or little outside of this whole pie chart. So let's see how can we do it. Simply, it's again very easy. First of all, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a variable explode, okay, and then use a list comprehension, pass 0 for I in pollutants. See, whatever number of pollutants are there, okay, this list will contain 0 for each name. If there is div, it will store a 0 for it. If there is H, it will store a 0 for it. So let me just print first of all, let me just comment this out so we can work further. So let's print explode. So, and let's run it. Basically, this list will contain only zeros. See, it's storing only zeros, okay, for each pollutant name. So, and after that, what I have to do, I have to find from this list I have to find the value which is maximum. See, which is 168. So I have to find it out, its position, its index from this list. So how can we do it? Again, it's very easy. We are going to create a mx variable, mx equals values dot index, okay. On the values list, we are going to apply the index method to find out the index of the maximum value, and then we will simply pass the max of values, and finally print. So let's print the mx, and it should work fine. Let's see if it's, so see here we are getting 4 as an index. So let me just see it. See, 0 1 2 3 4, 168 has the index 4. So we have got the index of this thing. Perfect. Now what I am going to do next is, see, in the explode list is containing zeros for each name. So what I'm going to do, simply at the 4th index, instead of 0, I want to make it 0.1. So what I will do, explode of at the 4th index. So 4th index is stored in the mx variable. I will simply reassign it 0.1. Perfect. Everything is fine. Now let's just print explode now, and this time you should get a list with at the fourth index we will get 0.1. So 0 0 0 0 0.1, everything is fine. You have to do this thing to explode it from the pie chart. So let's see now. We have, since we have did it, so let's just uncomment it. Oops, I just run it, sorry. 0.1, and finally you have to add it here. Explode equals explode. So see, we are getting a pie chart from in which this the highest value is little outside the pie chart. Okay, so this is how you can do it. Now since we have did it, the next thing that we are going to do is plot a location on the map using Car2Py. See, most of the times you might have seen on the TV that this shows city and there its value, like see, I'm in Kanpur, so it's showing the Kanpur on the world map and its value. So we are going to do the same thing. Let's see how can we do it. So for this you have to install the Car2Py library. See, Matplotlib, it's not available by default, so you have to install it. Pandas, it's not available by default, you have to install it. But if you are using Colab or Anaconda, it's available by default, so you can use it there. Now how to install Car2Py. If you are using Colab, you have to run these two cells. I have already written the code, just copy it and run it in your Colab file. Otherwise, if you are using Conda, I have given the video, different video, a separate video on installing Car2Py in normal Python or Conda. You can check that out. So I am hoping, I am supposing you have already installed Car2Py, okay, either by this way in Colab or by watching the video in the video description. So let's just comment it out and let's plot the data. So let's just go up, come here. See here in the bigger dictionary, that is a data dictionary, we are getting a city key and its value as this thing, a list containing latitude and longitude. We have to extract this thing. Let's see how can we do it. Let's come at the coding part, and here first you have to import the Car2Py library. So import Car2Py.crs. Car2Py is a library, CRS is a module, as CCRS. Instead of using this full name, you can use it as CCRS. Okay, so in a geo variable from the biggest dictionary data, we are going to extract the city variable, okay, and then from it the geo key. So geo, now let me just print geo, and it will print you a list containing the latitudes and longitudes of the city. See, from here we have extracted it from the data. We have first extracted city, and from it we have extracted geo. Okay, so it's working fine. Now we have to plot it on the map. Let's see how can we do it. Again, it's very easy. First of all, we have to create a set of axes. So ax equals plt.axis. Now I have a separate series on Car2Py. You can check it out if you are interested in mapping. So first you have to pass a projection here. Just pass it like this if you do not understand what is a projection. So plate carry, okay, just do it like this, and then you have to type one more thing, ax.stock.img. it will show you map. If you do not add this line, the map will not be visible, everything will be white. Okay, everything is fine. Now just plot the map and let's run it. Currently nothing will be shown, only a map. So let it get executed. Here we are getting map. The size of map is very small. We can further increase it like this. Fig equals plt.figure, as we have did earlier, and we have passed the fig size as 10,8. okay, again it will be in inches. So let's just run it, and it will increase the size of the map. So let's run it, and it should increase the size of the map. Everything is fine. Now let's plot the city. Here it will be. So how can you do it? We are just going to plot a scatter plot. Now again it's defined in the matplotlib. We have already imported matplotlib above, so we are just going to use it. So plt.scatter, plt stands for matplotlib.pyplot. okay, plt.scatter. Here what you have to do, first you have to pass the longitude of the city, then the latitude of the city. In the geo variable, there it's a list containing the latitude comma longitude. So we have to first pass the first index, okay, then pass the 0th index, because the 0th index is storing latitude and longitude is at the first position, but we want to pass longitude first and latitude later. Okay, you can pass a color here. Suppose if you want to show the scatter in blue, you can simply pass blue and it will show the blue on the map. So let's just run it. See here it's showing Kanpur here. Now what we have to do, we have to pass its name text here, so you can do it simply like this: plt.text. okay, again it's defined in matplotlib. 0 g of plus g of 1 plus 3 g of 0 minus 2. Basically from longitude add 3, on in latitude negate 2. Then f string, which is here we are passing the city name. City name is Kanpur. We have extracted it above, where at some part we have did it. Basically we have stored it in a list. So actually we have defined it ourselves here, city. okay, so city is storing Kanpur. It will change automatically with your city name. So city, then AQI, then /n, then the value of AQI and the color red. So let's just run it, and it will show the name of its city and its AQI value on the map. See, Kanpur AQI is 168. Everything is fine. Now it's you should be thinking what I did here, +3 or -2. Basically it's not necessary. You can just change values to move the text around this scatter. Just try different values here, +5, -2, or -1, -10, and it will move the text around here. okay, so hope this part you understood. It was a real-time data analysis. okay, basically here we work with real-time data. Currently whatever the value of AQI in my city is, we work with that data. Now let's come to the historical data. Mainly we will be working with the lockdown part. In the 21 days, how the data has changed. So for that you have to download a data set. So let me how can you download it? Just visit this website, just run it, let it get opened. Basically you have to download a CSV file from here. So how can you do it? Just scroll down, and here you have to pass your city name to download its CSV file. So I am in Kanpur. I'll simply select Nehru Nagar Kanpur here. If it's not showing your city name, just type it here. So Nehru Nagar Kanpur, just type it. It's my station name, which find out the pollution level of my city. So just like this, and it's saying that download the CSV data for Nehru Nagar. So just click it, and after that it will ask you the I think email ID or name, something like this. So just scroll down, it's asking the full name, just type it here. Your email ID, type it here. Your organization name, just type it here, anything here, and then just select this and submit, and a CSV file will be downloaded on your system. See, I have already downloaded the CSV file and stored it in my Google Drive. So I'm just going to use this CSV file. What is a CSV file? It stands for comma separated values. Basically after downloading it, you can open it just by double clicking it, and it will open in Microsoft Excel automatically. okay, so I'm supposing you have already downloaded it. Now see here, I have mounted my drive. So to use the CSV file from my Google Drive, so just go here and drive, in my drive, okay, in Colab notebooks, in data and visualization part, in air pollution folder, I have this file Nehru Nagar Kanpur. So I have just copy its path. okay, and let's come to the coding part. Here we'll be working with the pandas library mainly. From here we'll be extensively using pandas to use to find out the analysis part, to do the analysis part. So import pandas as pd. okay, in a CSV path variable we will store the path of my CSV file, which is we just copied it. okay, so just paste it. In a df variable we are going to create a data frame. What is a data frame? If you do not understand it, it's simply a table like structure in pandas. okay, so pd.read csv, and we will pass the csv path variable here, csv path variable here, and just see, if you just try printing df, it will print all the rows of this csv file. Remember, this csv file will be around 5 MB, 5 or 6 MB. So here we are getting an error, csv path is not defined. Name csv path is not defined. Why? Oops, actually it's my error, csv. So let's just run it, and it will show you all the rows of the data. See, there are currently 1895 rows into 7 columns. What I want is, I just want to extract the first 50 rows of this. So how can you do it? df.head. So df equals df.head and pass 50, and it will extract the first 50 rows and store it back in the df variable. Now let's try running df or printing df, and it will only show you the first 50 rows. So see here, it's showing you the first 50 rows of the data frame. Everything is fine except that, see this, what this is storing, the name. Let me just scroll it above. See here, So it is storing the date, PM 2.5 value, PM 10 is empty, O3 value which is ozone, NO2 value, SO2 value, and carbon monoxide which is again empty. So basically we will be working with PM 2.5, O3 or SO2 or NO2 like this. Okay, so everything is fine. We have 50 rows, few rows are empty, like this row is empty and this row is empty, so we have to sort it out, all these things. So first of all, see here, you are seeing it like PM 225 or PM 10. Let me just try printing the name of the columns. So let's just come here and let me just comment it and type df.columns and run it, and it will show you the name of all the columns. So the name of first column is date, then the name of second column is, instead of PM 25 or PM 10 or O3, you will notice here it's storing a little space here. See, space PM 25, space PM 10, space O3, space NO2, like this. So we have to rename all these columns. So how can you do it? It's very easy. So you can just apply this thing, df equals df.rename. Okay, columns equals replace the PM25 space PM25 with PM25, replace the space PM10 with PM10, replace the space O3 with O3, like this. And we have renamed all the column names, and again let's just try printing columns and it will rename all the columns. So date, PM25, PM10, O3, everything is perfect. Yep. Now the next thing is, we are going to extract the date of lockdown. See, the lockdown in our city was from 25th April to 15th of March. So we have to extract all those dates from this 50 rows. So see here, the data is from 1st April, 1st April to 14th April, it's fine. 1st April to 15th April, and then there are a few rows from the previous month, that is from March, that is 1st March to 17th March. Okay, so we have to find out a way. So how can we do it? We are just going to extract the date of lockdown. So how can we do it? It's very easy. So we are just going to create a, first of all, see, as I told you, see this data frame. This data frame is storing the dates in a string format, 2020 by 4 by /4/1. This is 2020 /4/2. This is a string, and to work with dates we have to convert it into a date object. So how can you do it? In pandas you can simply do it like this. So let's just try do this, df date. So pd dot to date time df.date. Basically it will take a string and it convert it into a date type value. So let me just, after doing this, let's just copy it and just print it, and it will show you the dates in a date format. Now see, we are now getting the dates in a date format. Okay, so now we can work with it. Now we have to extract the dates of lockdown. So how can you do it? It's again very easy. So we'll create a variable df21. Okay, this df21 will store the data of the 21 days lockdown. df.loc, it will extract the rows, and then we have to pass some value here. So from the data frame above, okay, we have to extract all those dates where the which is greater than 2023 24, yani 24th March 2020. We have to extract all those dates which are greater than 24th March 2020. So we have did this. Now let's just try printing df21 and you will see something. So it will be storing the 21 days. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, everything is 5. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15. So 15 days of April month, and then 25 26 27 28 29 30 31. So 7 days of March month. Okay, so it's fine, we have got the data as expected. We have to do one thing here. See here, currently the data is in this format. First the 15 days of April, and then the 7 days of March. We have to sort it out some way. So let's see how can we sort it out. It's again very easy. df21 equals df21.sort. df21 is the name of our current database data frame. Dot sort values. Okay, we have to sort the values by date. So it will sort this data frame by dates. So let's just try printing df21 now, and the data frame will get sorted according to the date. So we are now getting the values like this: 25 26 25th March, 26th March, 27 March, 28 March, 29 30 31st March, and then the 15 days of April. Everything's fine. We wanted it like this. So successfully we have extracted the dates of lockdown. Okay, now the next thing that we are going to do is remove any extra date from the 21 days. See here, we are also getting the data of 15th March, and we do not need this because the lockdown was from 25th of March to 14th of April. So I want to remove this. How can you do it in Pandas? Simply df21, which is your data frame name, this smaller data frame name, dot drop. This is a method to remove any column or row, dot drop, and we will pass the index value, which is 13, comma, in place equals true. Now what is in place equals true is doing, basically if you do not pass this, it will create a new data frame for you, but I want that the 13th row will the 13th index row should get removed, and we'll get the same data frame and stored in the df21. So in place equals true will get store the new data frame to this particular df21 data frame again. Okay, so like this. If you just pass it false, you will get a new data frame, and I do not want it. So after doing this, let's try printing df21, and it will give us a data frame with from the dates from 25th of March, see 25th of March to 14th of April. Now what next we are going to do, see here, we are going to fill all these empty empty columns with zeros. So we have to fill this, all these things with zeros. See, these are empty, so we cannot work with empty data here. Basically it's not empty, it's a empty string, space. Okay, it's simply a space. So if I want to add all these things, it will lead us a error because here it's a space. Also keep in mind, all these values are string. 124 is not integer, 100 is not integer, all these things are string, so we have to convert to integers to work with them. Okay, so how can we fill all the empty cells with 0? See, df21 dot replace, the drop method we use to remove the row, the dot replace method will use to replace all the spaces. Okay, all the, see, these are not empty things, they are simply a space, so we have to remove all these spaces with 0 and in place equals true. Again, in place equals true means that we have to store the new data frame back to our df21 data frame. Okay, so just run it, and this time we will see all these empty cells will be filled with 0. So let's just run it and see here we are getting all these empty cells filled with zeros. Now we can work with them. The next thing that is we are going to do is plot the data of PM 2.5. I will try to plot a graph of PM 25, how its value changed in the 21 days lockdown. So let's see how can we do it. Again, plotting data part. So we have imported the, let me just close it, comment it out so we can do the coding part. So again, import matplotlib.pyplot splt. We have did it earlier in the cells, but I'm just going to do it again, splt. Okay, so make you understand. Now we are going to create a dates variable which will store the dates df21 and pass the date. Basically what we are going to do, from this bigger data frame we are going to extract all these dates in a list. So see here, we have just passed the dates. This is my variable list name. So from df21 data frame we will extract all the values of the date column. So let's just print dates, and basically it's a list. So let's it get executed. So see here, here we are getting all the dates stored in this dates variable. Okay, so fine, I needed this. Now what I'm going to do next is going to store all these things in a PM25 list. Okay, so let's see how can we do it. Where we were. Okay, so we are going to do it like this. So PM25, see, PM25 is nothing, it's PM2.5. okay, we cannot apply dot in a variable name. So just like this, that we have did earlier, PM25, pass the column name as PM25. Now again, all these things are strings, not integers, so we have to convert all these values in an integer. So we are just going to apply the list comprehension on it. So how can you do it? PM25 equals int of I for I in PM25. So everything's fine. If you just try printing PM25, basically you will get a list storing all the values in an integer format. Okay, so all these are now integers. Perfect. Initially if you had printed it, they will be strings. Okay, now we have to plot a graph. So let's see how can you do it. So first of all, this line, it will control the size of the figure. Okay, so let me just copy it, paste it here, and plt.plot, we are going to plot at the x-axis I'll keep the dates, and on the y-axis will pass the PM225. So let's just do it, and finally plt.show, and it will create a graph for us. Okay, it's the simplest graph. Here we are getting some value, but it's not like the way that we wanted. Something is wrong here. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. Some line I have missed. Okay. Oops. How I remove this line? Basically, I have to add this line. We did it here, but I didn't know how it gets removed automatically. So just run it, and this time we should get a better map or plot. Okay, we have to convert all these values into integers. See, now we are getting a good plot here. All the values are converted into integer. Initially it was string, that's why we were getting a wrong plot. So it's okay. Now what next things we can do is, you can, if you want to change the color, you can change the color from blue to red by passing the color variable here like this. So color equals, let's say, green. Okay, so it will convert the lines into green color, and everything will be the same. So it's, we are getting a green plot now, working fine. Let's see if I can change anything. Yep, everything is okay. All this was what I needed. So you plotted the graph. Now basically it's of you can see under lockdown the values of PM225 is very less. It's okay, perfect. But what I want is that I want to compare it with non-lockdown days. I want to compare it with the days before lockdown. So how can you do it? Again, we are going to create another data frame. So our lockdown days are saved in a df21 data frame, but I want 21 days before that lockdown. How can you do it? I have created a mask variable here. So inside it we pass df date greater than equal to 5 March 2020 and df date less than 25 March 2020. I want the dates, all the rows between these dates. So past 21, it will be our new data frame. df.loc to extract the rows, and we'll pass the mask thing here. Okay, we have did the same thing here. Initially here, see, df.loc df date greater than 24 March 2020. We have do this. We are doing the same thing again to extract the dates between rows between these two dates. Okay, past 21, and let's just run it, and it will give the dates between rows, all the rows between these dates. So see here, we are getting the rows from 5 March to 24th March. Now here in this CSV file, there's a mistake that I want to show you. We have not the data of 5th March. See here, after 4th April, we have directly the 6th April. We do not have the data of 5th April. Basically, it's some kind of error from the CSV file, so we cannot do anything for that. Okay, so what we are only doing the exploration part, analysis part of 20 days instead of 21 days. Okay, so here again we have only extracted 20 days, not the 21 days. I want to make it clear to you. Okay, so you won't say that I am doing some kind of cheating, or if there's some kind of error. So it's like this. Now the next thing that we are going to do is compare the two data frames, compare the PM2.5 values of two you can say lockdown days or before lockdown days. Okay, so how can you do it? See, import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. Everything is okay. We have did the same thing. Let me just do this thing. So first thing what I'm going to do is create a dates variable, and let me just remove this output. Okay, so first of all we'll store all the 2.5 PM2.5 values of lockdown in a PM25_L variable. Okay, and we are going to convert all these values in an integer using the list comprehension. We have did the same thing. Okay, and then we are going to extract the PM2.5 values of days before lockdown. So in a PM25_N variable. Okay, L stands for lockdown, N for no lockdown. Sorry, my English is not very good, so we have created the variable just like this. And again we are going to convert it into a integer value, because this is again, all these things are again strings. We have to convert it into integers. Fine. Now the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to plot a plot a graph. So plt.figure, figure size 10:8, and then we are going to do this. So let me just show you how we are going to do. Plt.plot. First of all, between again we are going to do one more thing. Instead of dates, we are going to create a length variable. Length equals let's say this thing, I for I in. Basically we are going to create a list using list comparison. It will store the numbers from 1 to 21. Basically, since we have 20 days only, so it will be a list from 1 to 20. Okay, let me just remove this line. Just print length, and it will, it's simply list storing the this thing, numbers from 1 to 20. Okay, we don't have 21 days here. The data was between dates and the values. Okay, but here what I want, one more thing that I forgot to tell you, you can also add few things here. Sorry, my fault. plt.figure, plt.title, PM 2.5 values in lockdown days. Okay, so it will create a title for you. Okay, and plt.xlabel, dates of lockdown, and yep, and plt.ylabel, PM 2.5 values, PM 2.5 values. Sorry, I forgot to tell you initially. Basically this will just do things like this. See, on the Y level we have PM 2.5 values, on the X level we have dates of lockdown. Okay, you can add data like this in your plot. Okay, so we have did this thing. Now we are going to plot the, instead of dates, since we now have two different dates, under lockdown and before lockdown. So this time we are not going to plot dates. Okay, instead of it we are going to plot data between length and PM 2.5 values. So how can you do it? Just copy this thing. Let me just copy it, paste it here. Pass C length comma PM 25 underscore L. So first of all we are going to plot the data between PM under lockdown days. Okay, so this is the data between of PM 2.5 values of lockdown days. Fine, we are going to now plot the data of non-lockdown days. So non-lockdown days will be PM 25N and the color will be red. Okay, so fine, we are getting two plots here. The red is showing the PM 2.5 values before lockdown and the blue line is showing the PM 2.5 values after under lockdown. Okay, so you can see it under lockdown that PM 2.5 values decreased rapidly. Initially it was as high as 180, but after that it decreased quite. The maximum was 140 in this lockdown. Okay, so it was quite good under lockdown. The air was became quite good for to inhale or breathe. Here we can add a label part. So let me just copy this thing so I can do it faster. Just add it here. The blue line is showing the, sorry, yep, so the blue line is showing the under lockdown data and the red line is showing the before lockdown data. So if you run it, you will see nothing will be changed on your plot. Basically we have to add one method here, plt.legend, to show it on the plot. Okay, perfect. So let's run it, and this time we will get a plot. See here it's saying that blue line is showing under lockdown and the red line is showing before lockdown. Also you can add a title here like this, plt.title, comparison of before lockdown versus under lockdown PM 2.5 values. Yep, and just run it, and this time we will get a plot with the title. So comparison of before lockdown versus under lockdown PM 2.5 values. Okay, it's fine. So this was the analysis part. Hope you learned something new. Now let's try to figure out solve several questions. Okay, so the first question is saying, on which date PM 2.5 value was minimum in Kanpur under lockdown. So it is saying that on which date the value of PM 2.5 was minimum under lockdown in 21 days, which at which date we have the minimum 2.5 value. So how can you do it to find it out? simply see here, we can apply this thing. df21, it is our data frame for 21 days lockdown. We will pass the column name, which is pm25 integer. First of all, we will convert all the values of this particular column into integer format. Okay, int 5 for I in df21 pm25. Now what we are going to do, we are going to find out that row which has the minimum value. So how can you do it? Print df21. okay, it's our data frame name, and from here we are going to pass df21.pm25 equal to df21 dot see here, df21 data frame name dot column name equal to data frame name dot column name dot minimum value. Okay, so it will give you the row with the minimum pm25 value. So let's just run it, and you will get the rows. See, on the 3rd of April we have the minimum pm 2.5 values in Kanpur, which is 67. So let's try to just check it, which is, where is our 21? Yes, here. So see, 124, 150, 91, 87, everything's fine. Where we are, we have a plot, everything looks fine to me. Okay, so this is how you can find the minimum value of pm25. Now the next question is saying that 3rd April 67, it's good, but where it is, I'm missing something, I think. Okay, see here, on the 3rd April the value of pm 2.5 is minimum 67. After all these days the value is quite high, like 87, 109, 97, 60. At the 3rd April we have recorded the minimum pm 2.5 value in Kanpur. Okay, so good, everything good. Now let's try to solve the next question. On which date ozone value was maximum in Kanpur under lockdown? It's a question. So again we have to convert all the values of ozone to integer to work with them. See, all these things are string, as I said, so we have to convert all these values into integer. So we are just going to apply the list comprehension thing. So how can you do it? Again, it's very easy. df21, then column name equals integer of 5 for I in df21 or 3. Okay, it will convert all the string values to integer values. Now we are going to apply do the same thing. So print df21, which is data frame name for 21 days lockdown data, and df21.03 equals df21.03.max. okay, it will give you the data for the maximum the dates which have maximum ozone value recorded. So there are 3 days, 9th April, 10th April and 13th April, which have the maximum value of ozone as 31. So let's just try to check it. So 9th April, which is 31, 10th April 31 and 13th April 31. okay, so these were the highest, these were the dates on which ozone was recorded highest in Kanpur. Perfect. Now what is the average value of SO2 in the lockdown? So again we have to convert all the values of SO2 column to integer. So SO2 into 5 for I in df21 SO2. Perfect. Now we are going to store the mean value. Mean is average value of SO2 in the average SO2 variable. So df21, this is data frame name, then column name, then we have applied the dot mean method on it. Mean method can find the average values of all the values and stored in an average SO2 variable. Print the average value of SO2 was SO2 is AVG SO2. So 7.35 was the average value of SO2 in this 21 days lockdown. Okay, so SO2, if you want the average value of NO2, you have to just pass NO2 like these things. So this was it for this video, guys. Hope you I've tried to teach you as much things as I can in this one video with pandas. Extensive use of pandas we did with this video. Hope you learned something new. Again, one more thing, suppose if you are not in Kanpur, how can you change it? So historical data part, good. So let's just go and try to do this part. Suppose you are not in Kanpur, you are in Bangalore. So you have to just type your city name here, Bangalore, and it will give you the data for Bangalore instead of Kanpur. So here its AQI is 91, quite good as compared to Kanpur. Okay, so Bangalore's value, then its value is like this. Everything will be same. You have to change the city name. Okay, so this was it for this video, guys. Hope you learned something new. If you love this video, leave a like or a dislike. If you have any doubt, ask in the comment section. If you are new to my channel, subscribe it. Thank you. See you in the next video. Love you, and be in your home. Okay, do not go outside. Thank you.